Good morning, baseball fans. We are getting ready for MLB Today. And hopefully you're having a good Friday morning. We're going to be doing this on Fridays, 9 a.m. I don't believe I'll be here next Friday because of the conference I'm going to. But other than that, we'll be here on Fridays at 9 a.m. here for MLB Today, and then also Braves Country today. So we got a lot of Braves stuff that we're going to do in the second hour. I've got the Sarge coming on. We're going to talk some Red Sox. We're going to talk some AL, some NL, all that kind of stuff. But real quick to start off the show, I want to go ahead and play a part of this of the Walt Weiss pressers. He was named the new head coach for the new manager for the Atlanta Braves. I was thinking college baseball. The new manager for the Atlanta Braves. And this is what he had to say, and then we'll bring T on.
Thank you, everyone, for coming. Thank you to Walt's family, his wife, Terry, and his 3 boys that are here. Obviously, this has been a long process for us to get this done. First and foremost, I want to thank our chairman, Terry McGurk, for his support throughout this whole entire process, and the entire baseball operations team. I know it took a little longer than everybody expected or wanted, but this was important for us. It was important for us to get it right. It was a rare opportunity for us to really canvass the entire game, teams, the league, talk to as many people, do as much background work as we could, and ultimately that search came back to Walt. And I couldn't be more excited. His experience, his character, his work ethic is exactly what we want here. And we expect great things going forward, and we expect to get back to the playoffs going forward. So with that, I want to present him with his jersey and his hat. He's going to switch from 4 to 22, what he wore as a player. And I just want to congratulate Walt on the new manager of the Braves.
All right.
And we'll do a photo of you hat and you hold it.
Been an interesting process. I think I'm very excited once Snit stepped away and I became a part of this. It was something I got really excited about. So, my history here, my last 8 years, I think I'm hoping it'll be a seamless transition here because of the relationships, not only with the players, but the front office. There's the support staff. There's respect and trust that flows up and down the chain of command. And so I think, for that reason, we can hit the ground running. It's the first time I did this, it was I came to realize that. It sounds weird, but it takes the better part of a year to truly understand your team. I'm talking about getting to know them on a deep level, what makes them tick, what situations they thrive in, even down to their body language and those types of things that we read into. So that's a process that takes the better part of a year. And I think, the fact that I've been here and a lot of those things are already established, like I said, we can hit the ground running. But that being said, I want to throw out some thank yous also. My family, my 4 boys, they're my 4 best friends. And, my wife, who for 35 years has navigated this baseball life to perfection. So, I'm grateful for the people in my life. Thank you to Terry McGurk, and same name as my wife, Terry. Make that clear there, but and thank you to Alex, and everybody else that was involved in this coming to fruition.
All right, that's about enough. He starts thinking everybody, the neighbor's dog, all that kind of stuff. Anyways, I wanted to play a little bit of that. Welcome in, Sarge. How the hell are you, sir?
Doing well. Getting packed, getting ready to head out again, but not looking forward to the winter. It's cold up here, man.
The Sarge is getting sent over to Washington, D.C., right?
Correct. Yep. Wednesday morning.
And that'll be till February?
March.
Okay. Well, essentially, we hope to have you back during, and who knows, something might work out in your schedule. Probably not, but we get you during other shows in the off season. I got other folks who are planning on coming on, but we wish you well and stay out of harm's way. And then also you'll be back in time for the World Baseball Classic, which actually starts right after that. I want to say the Classic starts on March 9th. So
Is it baseball classic again?
yeah.
Ugh, I'm not a fan. Too many
You're not a
injuries.
fan of the baseball Classic?
No, too many injuries. Somebody big always gets hurt.
I enjoy it. I'm looking forward to it. It makes the offseason so much shorter. So yeah,
It does do that. Yeah, I'll give you that. It's fun baseball and everything. It's just every time it comes around, somebody tears something or a pitcher. You know, pitchers get hurt way too much in the World Baseball Classic because they're coming back. They're not ready. You know, they're not. They're just not ready
Yeah,
yet.
and there's no perfect. So the only answer to do that would be to do it after the season.
Yeah.
But then they're exhausted. And so I don't like that at all. I honestly think what they ought to do with the pitching is that they shouldn't allow any major league players pitch. They should work out some kind of a system where it's only pitchers that are not planning on pitching a full season anyways in the minor leagues. So, and look, it'll probably be good for the sport, for the tournament, because it'd be high scoring games. But I'm talking about bringing in guys, maybe some college level guys, but probably more likely guys in AA, AAA, that kind of thing. You know?
Or just put a 2-inning limit or a certain amount of batter limit.
Well, they do tend to do that. Now, I will give them credit on that. They tend to put a limit on that because the last thing that they want to do is you won't see guys go 6-7 innings. It just doesn't happen. There's a huge I forget the numbers. We'll get them before it all starts, but there is a huge inning limit. The injury that happened to Diaz was goofy. It had nothing to do with them putting them on. If you remember, Edwin Diaz tore up his knee during a celebration after a win.
Yeah.
And so, and he didn't really do anything. There wasn't even like a huge dog pile. He just landed funny. So that was probably going to happen anyways. But they do a very good job of limiting the pitches. And then if a guy pitches X amount of pitches in one game, then he can't do anything for X amount of games. I do remember that in the last one, and I'm sure that's continued with the last CBA. But I would not be opposed to saying we're not putting our anyone in the starting on the 40-man roster. Nobody on the 40-man roster goes. We can send guys that we're trying to see something about them a little early, but there's just baseball is such a funny sport that to me there's no easy answer for it. But I think it's great for the game. It helps global. Did you see that the World Series Game 7 was the most watched game globally? I forget when they said, but it had been a couple of decades.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's because we had Canada, of course, the United States, and Los Angeles. That didn't hurt. And then, of course, Japan. And they were all watching. And then there are other countries that are watching it because they're just curious as hell, you know?
And remind me again, why was Japan so into it? I can't remember. What's that guy's name? Oh, yeah. God was playing for the Dodgers. That's why.
I mean, you're probably talking about Ohtani. I think Yamamoto was the reason why they won the World Series.
Yeah, I agree. But Ohtani was the reason they were watching.
Well, it was twofold because, believe it or not, Yamamoto is a big deal in Japan. It's not just Ohtani and the rest.
Right.
And then also don't forget Sasaki.
Yeah.
Was the closer in the series. So it has become Team Japan. And did you see, and this kind of starts it off, did you see that the Cubs, what the hell are they doing? They didn't pick up the option of Shota Imanaga. So you know he's going to end up, there's no way he doesn't end up in Los Angeles. And even though they've got 45 pitchers that I don't know where the hell they put them at, but they'll go and get them. And they'll make.
He'll be wearing Dodger blue or pinstripes.
I guess they'll finally do with Ohtani what I've said they should have done years and years and years ago, and that's make him a closer. I mean, that's what I would do. If I was building that team and I went and got Imanaga, and they're going to have the money to do it because they just burn cash nowadays, I would get Imanaga in the starting rotation, Ohtani as my closer, Sasaki as my setup man. Holy crap, how the hell do you navigate through that? And you're going to have these hard throwers like Yamamoto, like Snell and whatnot, and Glass now, and then you're going to have to deal with in a long series. Oh, crap, here's this Imanaga jackass that changes speeds 45 different directions, and I can't make contact because I was just whiffing at 98 up around my eyeballs the night before. So
There's no way they'll make Ohtani a closer, though. They're paying the guy so much. You can't pay that. I mean, yeah, he plays both ways and all that. I get that, but they're going to milk that cat. They should try to get every inch at him. They're paying him $700 million. There's no way they'll ever make him a closer. It's a good idea on paper, but that'll never happen.
I think it's the thing that makes the most sense logically, because you can, and you don't even necessarily have to make him a closer. I would make him a reliever, because the downtime on him becomes so much less. The guy's going to go to the Hall of Fame no matter what. It doesn't matter what the hell you do with him. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be ones. I found a video yesterday that I'll play during this upcoming season that's pretty interesting, about a guy that essentially he was the first real closer in baseball. It was the 1920s. And they couldn't decide what to do with them. And that's why he never made the Hall of Fame, because the guy ended up with, like, I forget the numbers, but we'll just say like 100 wins and X amount of saves, back when saves wasn't even a thing. They didn't even know what to call it back then. But that's essentially what they went back and credited him with it, right? But he's definitely a candidate for them to reopen and say, hey, well, let's put him in the Hall of Fame. But that guy's not going to be – this is not the same thing. Ohtani's going to go to the Hall of Fame because of his offense alone, right?
Yeah.
So do what the hell you want to with the pitching. The pitching numbers are never going to be there, because he's going to constantly be dealing with load management, et cetera, probably another major injury, because that's what pitchers do. I would make him my closer. I would make Sasaki my setup man, and eventually grooming Sasaki to be my closer. And you could at some point make Ohtani the setup man or the swing man because they've already changed the rules where it doesn't matter what you do with them. But anyways, we'll move on from that. I'm sure. T Money says, don't tell me for a second that Ohtani wasn't betting. I'll tell you what, I wouldn't bet against it. I can tell you that right now. There was a thing that I saw on another clip that I'm planning on playing during the offseason, where they talked to one of the main guys in charge of that team. And he ended up being one of the guys that got busted by the FBI. And he never said that he believed that Ohtani was 100% betting, but he also said that he did not believe that Ohtani didn't know about it. And he just kind of lays it out, and I can't do it justice, but we'll move on from that. I've said all along, there's no way in hell the guy's getting that much money kicking the can down the road, and then all of a sudden we have a huge series in Japan. And oh, by the way, your interpreter is going to be the fall guy. And the thing that just happened in the NBA with the gambling,
mm-hmm.
that particular investigation took 8 to 10 months to bring charges. The thing that happened with Ohtani, it took him 3 days to say, no, he's good.
Yeah, baseball couldn't handle it. Baseball would not recover. It would take longer than the strike to.
I don't think that's true, because it's become such a big juggernaut. It's definitely bigger than the NBA now. There was a time where it looked like the NBA was closing in on them, but they've fallen way behind. But it would have devastated the fans of Japan, which are a huge driving market in Major League Baseball nowadays.
Yeah.
Now, they still have other stars. Yamamoto was the guy. I mean, come on. That guy was unhittable. Sasaki and Managa, who just hit free agency. The list goes on and on. But Ohtani is obviously they're the Superman of that. But what happens when a guy gets popped like that and he goes away, there's always someone else that grabs the mantle. All right, moving on from that for the third time. I'm trying to get out of that conversation. We've got all right. So first of all, hit me with your Red Sox stuff. You said that they made some moves that you didn't see coming. Lay them on me.
The one is Jaron Duran, because he's been, I haven't heard somebody talk about being on the trading block this much ever, to my recollection. I mean, I've been a Red Sox fan since '86. Like beginning of last season, all during the offseason last year was, he had this great year. He was the all-star MVP that, in 24. And then, okay, the season starts. He didn't come out gangbusters or anything. He had a good season. He didn't have the season he had in 24. It was the Reds, we got rid of Devers, so now we have this money to play with. So we got to get a pitcher. So Duran's the one that's go. We had this log jam in the outfield. We have for like 3 seasons, but now he didn't make it. I mean, he didn't get traded at the deadline, and he's definitely gone. As soon as the World Series is over, he'll never be in a Red Sox uniform again. This is all we hear all season long. And then they signed him to a 7.7 1-year deal this week.
Yeah, well, that was just avoiding arbitration is all that was.
Yeah, by $300,000, which.
So I honestly think that could be a sign that he is on the move. That's just my take. I've got nothing to base this off of. I'm not sitting inside Fenway right now with the radio wire.
I think he's leaving. I agree with you. I think he's leaving. But I guess I don't really.
The reason why you do that early on like that, and I know it's only saving 300,000, is because if you're going to start talking trade markets, you don't want this to drag out. Arbitration numbers are like into January, mid to late January is where they finally get decided, I believe, unless they've moved that. So this could be a thing that they're trying to get him signed, because you got the GM meetings next week. I mean, this stuff happens fast in the baseball season. You got the GM meetings next week, and then it's the first week of December. You have the winter meetings, which is the one that everybody always points to. But the GM meetings are huge, because this is the stuff that's behind the doors that sometimes there are trades made. Sometimes they're just getting prepped for what's going to happen in a month, right? But if you're the Red Sox, man, you can go in there and say, look what I've got, controllable at this number, and you need a left fielder.
We don't, though.
What's that?
We don't.
What?
Need a left fielder. We've got more outfielders than I have fingers.
I'm talking about who they would be trading.
Okay, I'm sorry. I misunderstood you. Yeah, okay. You guys need a very...
stroke. What's going on here?
Yeah.
No,
Probably.
I'm talking about you go to the GM meetings to move him, say, this is what I've got, and maybe we want some pitching back, or whatever they want, whether it's a starting pitcher or reliever, whatever the hell they want. I do believe that he is gone. I like Duran a lot.
I do too.
I would absolutely love to see him in an Atlanta Braves uniform. I just don't think there's a fit. You could, in theory, put Profar as the DH and you sign a Duran, you put him in left field, but it's more likely that he ends up somewhere else. But I like Duran's athleticism. Correct me if I'm wrong. Every time I see this guy, he's busting his ass.
He runs like he stole something.
Yeah, I won't put him in Charlie Hustle type, but that's what he reminds me of. He reminds me of a Pete Rose type, not Pete Rose, but a Pete Rose type where you never see him take a playoff. And I love that about it. And I wish we had more of that in Braves country. And I think a lot of teams, a lot of fans would love to see that.
Yeah, we liken him in Boston to like Pedroia, just
that kind of mentality. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, that kind of, I mean, obviously Pedroia comes up to his waistline, but like that kind of mentality where every game, every play is life and death, and Duran brings that. And I don't know where I don't think he's going to be in the Red Sox organization come. And I don't really fully understand arbitration as is. So, I mean, but
So the short of it is, if you go to arbitration, it's beneficial for both sides not to go, mainly because it gets ugly.
yeah,
In fact, they tell players, don't go to the damn meeting. Send your agent, whatever, because they're going to say ugly things about you because they're trying to drop your value.
right. I mean, the Mookie Betts arbitration thing was, had all of us just like, what are you doing? Sign the guy. He's like second to Trout. And but I hope that even though he didn't put up monster numbers or whatever, I mean, we got to get something back for him, and
Yeah.
I don't trust Breslow to do that. I don't trust Breslow. I like Breslow more than I liked. I got a hoard every Chaim Bloom. I got a hoard every
type, and you can send us Crochet and Duran. All right?
No,
Best
please God, no. I really hope Craig Breslow is not listening right now, because he'd go, let me see, maybe, we'll think about it.
Get it done. Duran, Greg Crochet to Atlanta.
Crochet's not going anywhere.
That's probably what you said about Sale. That's
what I said about Sale. That's correct. Yeah.
I'll be playing it on the Braves Country Day on the next hour, next show that I'm doing right here, same station. But there was a comment made by Anthopoulos about how they were going after Crochet. Not once he became a Red Sox. I'm talking about before he got traded. Mm-hmm. And I knew that to be true. I just never heard him say it publicly. So, man, I mean, at the time, I didn't look at it as a huge loss because I still worry about his mentality. But they got the deal done long term, so it didn't become a thing with the Red Sox. The biggest thing that concerned me as a fan, just watching the game, hearing what you hear, is that right before that trade took place, the offseason or the trade deadline season prior to, he had told everybody he wasn't pitching in the postseason until he gets a long-term deal. And I'm like, oh God,
that's a bad look.
Yeah, we got one of these dudes. They got the deal done, the long-term deal done in Boston, and he's been lights out. And I get it, the big picture of, hey, I want some security financially before I sit there and I'm going to wear myself out. I get that, but you hate to hear it.
You can't say that publicly where your teammates hear it and they're like,
it was just like the Erod thing. Eduardo Rodriguez that was leaving Detroit at the deadline, and he turned down a trade to the Dodgers. This was last year. So he turned down a chance at a championship, right? And the reasoning was he didn't want to be that far away from home, from his family. What? You spend the whole damn year on the road. What are you talking about? He had family closer to Detroit. Now, what did he end up doing in the offseason? He signs a long-term deal with the Arizona Diamondbacks, which is basically their next door neighbors. So what the hell are we doing? But anyways, at the time I was like, oh God, I don't like the hell. Anytime I hear a guy say, yeah, I'd like to be traded, but I only want to be traded if this, and this happens, I go, bleh, bleh. No, I'm out. I'm out. Brian, the football show's on Thursdays at 9. So you can go back and check it out. Fridays is baseball, because I got a lot going on. I had to kind of compartmentalize it. The Thursday show is on Armchair QB Radio. We're trying to keep the football on the football, and Braves Country Radio brings you MLB Today and Braves Country Today on Fridays, 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. Eastern. The football show's at 9 a.m. on Thursdays. Okay.
Who do you think? I mean, do you think Duran plus some prospect or whatever, do you think that would be enough to get Skeens out of Pittsburgh?
Get who?
what's his name? Skeens out of
Paul
Pittsburgh.
Skeens, Paul Skeens not going anywhere. I mean, people keep talking about him getting traded, but I don't know where this is coming from. He has what, 5 more controllable years if you're Pittsburgh. Why the hell would you trade him?
Because they're terrible and they're not going anywhere and they never will.
So the solution is to make them more terrible? What the hell are we talking about?
If it helps the Red Sox, absolutely.
Yeah, that's fool's gold. If you're reading those are what I like to call clickbait theater, and that's what they do during the offseason. Anything telling you about a Paul Skeens trade, they know you know who he is, so you're going to click on it. That's it. That's all that is. I would be absolutely floored if Paul Skeens got traded in this offseason. So they've got, so people don't realize the Pirates have a lot of talent in their pitching rotation, to the point where all they've got to do is find a little bit of offense and they can make a real charge in the Central the next few years. I mean, these aren't household names, but people aren't even talking, like all they talk about is Paul Skeens. But what about Jones? What about Bubba Chandler? I mean, the list goes on and on and on. This is a very talented, this team is loaded at the starting pitch because they've been so bad. So they've just been stockpiling all these picks, right? But to me, if I'm the Pirates, he's the one thing that's keep putting butts in the seats. I'm trading someone much lower on the totem pole to try to bring in some kind of offense. Maybe it's a guy that someone's halfway given up on. And I don't really have a problem if the Pittsburgh Pirates decide to sign a bunch of cheaper, more affordable, I guess we should say, veteran bats, and maybe you get some kind of chemistry together. I think it's more likely that they trade O'Neal Cruz because he's a little further along in his contract, and he's exciting, but he's also this. I mean, he's the natural light version of Ellie De La Cruz is what he is. So
that's like the worst sales pitch ever.
Well, I'm just telling you what he is, man. And he's actually one of my favorite players that doesn't wear, but he's not Ellie, but he reminds me of Ellie because all the numbers that they talk about with the hard hit rate, et cetera, but they don't know where to put him defensively. They tried to put him in center field and he was a disaster last year. But he's literally, I guess most people would call it, he's Ellie Cruz light, but I say he's the natural light version. Yeah. And I'm not talking about the new Fandangle version where they try to make it look all sexy, new can and everything. I'm talking about that old silver busted ass can that we drank back in the days because we only had $5 in our pocket and we liked it.
And they were at a Boone's farm. Do you think
if you were smart enough, you poured it in a mug so that the girls that you had over for the parties didn't know that that's what everybody was drinking?
Yeah, and at that age, nobody cared anyway. Yeah.
Did anybody ever actually buy a keg of Budweiser? No, it was all natural light. You save like $20 on that.
Yeah, easily. Yeah.
I remember one time we made a huge mistake of getting natural ice on a keg because we're like, damn, they make natural ice, and we knew it was a more potent beer. I forget what their percentage was back in the day, but it was much stronger than your typical domestic. And you talk about a head thumper the next day, man. There were bodies everywhere. It was like Vietnam, man. Like, oh I don't even know who this guy is. I'm not sure if he's breathing yet.
Kicked him, and if he grunts, we're fine.
And for some reason, I gave him my wallet. What the hell happened last night? So, anyways, back to the trade candidates that I do believe could actually be on the trade block. This guy gets talked about all the time. I just don't think people realize that it seems like the Nationals are restarting again. So we'll talk more about it in the next hour. But keep an eye on Mackenzie Gore. I'll get back more into that next hour because we're trying to do NL East and Braves on the 10 a.m. Brendan Donovan. This is an interesting one, T. He kind of can play all over the place. He's kind of he's very Tommy Edman like. I wouldn't even say that he's a cheaper version. I just think he's just a slightly younger version because he came up a little later in the Cardinals organization. Of course, Edman goes on to be the World Series MVP in 24. This guy's pretty. Look, he's projected salary, and this all comes off of arbitration, and he's controlled through 2027. His projected salary is $5.4 million. He's a career 283 or 282 hitter, excuse me. And he has an OPS right at 800. That's not nothing.
No, I'll take that.
And he walks quite a bit. I think they said 9% of his career plate appearances are walks, and is only fanned 13%. He's kind of like a throwback, right?
Yeah, it kind of sounds like a Euclid scenario.
That's what it was, John. Naturalized had 5.9, and it was in a keg. and there were no rules. It was all a disaster. And I'm pretty sure we were doing shots of Thunderbird. I mean, it was bad.
Yeah, Lord Calvert for breakfast. Yeah.
Absolute miracle that everyone survived.
We're still here. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, our livers would disagree with us, but
Right.
Well, what do you think about
now Mitch Keller of the Pirates? That's a pitcher that could get moved. We're talking about Pirates pitchers. That guy's could get moved, and he's owed $54 million through 2028.
Who's this now?
Mitch Keller, right-hander, pretty good. He's had some up and downs, but it seems like he got it back together last year. Last year, he ended up with a 4.19 ERA. That doesn't sound great, but it was much better in the back half. And he did give him 176 innings, so he's a workhorse. I believe it was 29 starts.
And he's on a bad team, so, he didn't get run support. So,
no, I mean, and like I say, and, another one, and you're probably more familiar with him because he's in the American League, Joe Ryan for the Twins. He's projected just 5.8, and he's controllable arbitration through 2027. And I do think there are going to be teams that you have to keep this in perspective. There are going to be teams that are going to be leery of bringing in guys past the 2026 season. That's not a controllable number like an arbitration number, right?
Right.
Because the lockout strike is looming.
Yep.
And next offseason, it's going to be an absolute. We're going to see them locked out / strike. It's the same damn thing. When no matter how they try to spin it, it's kind of like the entities in government are like, oh, the government shutdown's his fault. No, it's his fault. Regardless, it's not getting done because you haven't come to an agreement, right?
And they're gonna try and isn't the commissioner trying to implement a salary cap and stuff like that? And how does that work?
Right.
How does that work? If, like, say for the Ohtani deal, it doesn't go back, right? It starts from when they implement it, or because if so, the Dodgers are in big trouble.
Remember something, Ohtani's getting paid $2 million a year. So what the hell is that? All his stuff is backloaded. I don't like the idea of that. I think they need to go to a situation in Major League Baseball. If you want to backload it and the player's dumb enough to do that, and I still think that was because he knew his best friend was stealing from him. It was gambling all his money away. He's like, I know how to get rid of this. We get $2 million a year. You ain't gonna have anything to gamble with. And by the time I retire, I'm getting the hell away from you, you bozo. Hell, Ohtani might have been the one that they called the FBI. Hey, I know a guy who is. He sucks at soccer bets. He's losing all my money. But Joe Ryan, I mean, that's a kind of pitcher that people are going to be after. And they just hired the new manager, Shelton, from the Pirates, and that guy knows how to manage a team without any talent. So you might as well trade Joe Ryan, right? But Joe Ryan, Brendan Donovan. Let's give you a couple of names, other names. We said Mitch Keller. Sonny Gray is the one that everybody in Braves country is going to be pointing at because he's from the area. It's been rumored before when he was a free agent. He was a guy that everybody was thinking was going to head to Atlanta. The problem is
Getting a little long in the tooth, no?
that, and the problem is, listen to the numbers on this. $40 million. It's a $5 million buyout if you decide you don't want him for the next season. So in other words, he's getting, so it's $40 million through 2026. It includes a $5 million buyout on $30 million club option for 2027. Gray can also opt out if exercise. So if he has a great year, he's going to screw you and walk away. If he has a bad year, you're going to get screwed and going to have to pay out his $5 million buyout. I don't love the idea of him. I really don't. It wouldn't shock me if he gets moved to a major contender, but he's good. But I don't know if the one thing I will say, he's been durable.
Well, if he hasn't been recently injured or he hasn't just come off Tommy John, chances are pretty slim he's going to be in the Red Sox organization.
Another guy that you can be looking at, and the Twins ought to get a haul if they decide to move him as well, Pablo Lopez. And he's due $43 million through the 2027 season. Now, this is going to all be prorated because if they end up on strike, work stoppage, you may not have to pay him that whole thing, but when you come back, the fans are going to be pissed off, so you got to deal with that. That's why a lot of GMs / owners are concerned about giving someone a lot of money past 2026 because it's expected we're going to have a long work stoppage. Even if you lose like one, let's just say that you go out and you lose one week of baseball, right? And there's no way that they can figure it out. If you remember, the last time they ended up coming back a week late and they ended up doing double headers, et cetera, and that's how they got it done, right? But let's say you can't get that figured out. Let's say that's impossible and you're going to lose 1 week, 2 weeks, whatever. Not only do you lose the revenue coming in from the television, from the seats, the tickets, et cetera. The other big thing is the fans don't come back in droves. They usually get pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they're less pissed off if you miss the beginning of the season, because if the season starts in mid-April, your average sports fan goes, meh, be all right. We've got March Madness. We've got, the Masters, keep us entertained. It gets more and more difficult to try to sell it to them once all that stuff goes away and you're into May and you're heading towards June and you're like, what the hell, man, get it together, you bunch of billionaires, right?
Yeah, you got millionaires fighting billionaires, and none of us can relate to that. So we're just like, play ball,
Right. So that's why they're concerned about it. Here, this is another one. This one shocks me. They would even think about trading him, but they have traded Corbin Burns and Freddie Peralta has a club option of $8 million. That's cheap as hell for an elite starter for 2026. And then I believe it's a walk year after that. So that's why they will eventually probably trade him if they're not in it, because the Brewers have become very good at with the forward thinking, right?
Yeah.
And saying, hey, I don't want to get stuck at the end and we don't get anything back from him except give him a qualifying offer and we get a lousy draft pick that turns into something 7 years from now, right? So that would be someone, if you're looking at someone to pinpoint that's very affordable. Now, the problem is because he's affordable, you're going to have to give up something, right? But it's good news, bad news. The good news is he's a free agent afterwards, so you may not have to give up as much, but you are going to have to give up a pretty good prospect to get this guy who's going to be a free agent. But if you're going for it in 2026, I think Freddie Peralta is a very good addition. What about catchers? Ryan Jeffers projected $6.6 million on the arbitration line. Now, that's not something I'm earmarking as a Braves fan. We're fine at in fact, we're overloaded at catchers. But where are y'all at in the catcher market?
Where Navarez is gonna be our everyday catcher, I believe, and then crap, if you wouldn't ask me, what's his name? He was a starting catcher, but God, he can't hit his weight. His name just escaped me. I'm sorry. I just went blank.
Right.
But yeah, we're that's gonna make me nuts. I'm gonna look it up. I think they're gonna stick with Navarez. He came from the Yankees and he's pretty good. I like him. The pitchers really like him. But
Connor Wong.
Thank you. Goodness gracious. Yeah.
You're not right. You might be Wong.
Yeah. He's like more streaky offensively than Jackie Bradley Jr. was. I mean, he'll get hot for a week and then you don't hear about him for 4 months, So offensively, he's a liability for sure. Navarez is streaky, but that's kind of the MO with catchers, unless you're, elite.
If you look at Wong, he had a down year last year, batted 190. But all in all, throughout his career, he's a 245 hitter. That's not bad for a catcher.
For a catcher, that's not bad. But the thing about Wong is
his OPS is a little less than be desired. It's under 700, but he did have a horrific 2025.
He did.
So
yeah, he fell off
a lot of his
table. But for a catcher, the dude can fly. That's the thing. He's fun to watch run. Like he's really fast for a catcher, and that is
30
not
this year. So I would expect to bounce back from him.
I mean, I think so too. So I think we're all set at catcher. Third base, Bregman. Everybody knew he was opting out, but I don't see any. Do you see anybody paying Alex Bregman $41 million a year?
Boston.
Us. Yeah. So I think he's coming back. If he's
I
not,
think, you know what I think, and I think he wants to be back. The thing with Bregman, I think he just wants long-term, financial security that he did. So in other words, I think he's looking for a 5-6 year deal. So you can go, all right, this is home. I'm done with this. I don't think it's going to be. Actually think it's much more likely that the Astros go after Kyle Tucker than they do Bregman.
Yeah, because I think Bregman's back. And they're already talking in Boston. They're like, all right, let's say doesn't, Marcelo Myers coming back. He plays a good third base. Story opted in. So our shortstop set. And we don't know what we're going to do at second base since Petey was injured has been a black hole. Christian Campbell, he had a good month and then they sent him down to AAA. We haven't heard from him again, and we signed him for like 7 years or something and then sent him down to AAA.
Well, then you got to expect that he's going to be up with the club this year.
You
don't make a financial commitment to a kid and then go, well, it didn't work out. You don't do it that quickly.
Unless you're a Red Sox. Yeah. But everybody in the normal baseball realm, right. But we're the Red Sox. We do things.
7-year deal. They just signed to a 7-year deal, right?
Yeah, it was a 7. I think it was 6 or 7. Yeah, 7, I believe.
He'll be in the starting lineup this year. Now, the other big rumor out there is Jaron Duran, or it could be Wilyer Abreu that gets moved.
Wilyer Abreu, he just won his second Gold Glove, though. Can you move that guy? Well,
he also gets benched versus lefties. So I don't know what the answer is, but if you're asking me, I'm keeping Abreu. Where's the numbers? I thought they had the numbers on here. I guess they don't. But they're saying that I think they're referring to Abreu $8 million club option for 2026 and pre-arbitration.
I can live with that. I mean, because the Red Sox have that in their couch. Yes,
it is Abreu, $8 million through 2026, and he's pre-arbitration. So you're talking about a guy that is he's very controllable for the next few years. If I'm the Red Sox, I move him. Eventually, you just got to let him start facing lefties all the time. You can't just pick and choose. Let him get in there and fix it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that you bench him that you never bench him during a lefty. Like he goes up against a Chris Sale. Let's not screw your head up. No, sit down.
Right.
But I'm talking about on the daily basis, just because a lefty shows up. I hate when teams bench guys just because a left-handed bat's going up against a lefty or right.
Yeah. This is the major leagues. You're a professional
baseball
player. Figure it out. I agree. I can't. Oh, it's hard to swallow 2 Gold Gloves in a row. I mean, we have 2 Gold Glove outfielders this season, and because Cedar Rafaela is ridiculous. And if Roman Anthony hadn't got hurt, he was Rookie of the Year easily.
One of my favorite players from Cleveland plays for Cleveland. He's being rumored. I can't even believe this. Stephen Kwan of the Guardians, $8 million salary, controllable via arbitration through 2027. But we know that Cleveland's been pretty cheap over the years. I mean, this guy's a solid, and what I like about him the most, I don't think he's necessarily a target for the Braves. We're pretty loaded at outfield, and his biggest asset to me is that he's a great leadoff hitter, and I really want to see them put Acuna back at leadoff, quit screwing with his head. But anybody looking for a leadoff hitter, man, Stephen Kwan, that's a very controllable number for the next 2 seasons.
Jared Duran, leadoff hitter.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Braves make a trade for him, put him at leadoff, and have Acuna hitting second. I don't hate that. I don't like the Acuna batting third, fourth crap. It's stupid. He's not built for that. Here's a pitcher that you're looking for, T. Brady Singer. And I'll tell you why you're going to love this guy. $12 million salary projected for this year. Controllable arbitration. I can't believe he's still arbitration eligible through the end of this season. So this is his last season of eligibility. And the Reds will probably try to move him because that's what the Reds do as far as financial goes. Brady Singer, ex-Florida Gator.
Yeah.
So, and I'm telling you, I followed his career. He's got a really cool video. We got the audio that we play where when he finally gets to where he's going in the major leagues, he sends a letter and his mom's reading it out loud to her husband, his dad, basically saying all the things you did for me over the years, driving me to practice, et cetera, et cetera.
He pays their mortgage, right?
Right. He takes care of the whole 9 yards. And
Yeah.
they can just now look for the future as far as, basically get ready to retire if they want to.
Yeah. I've seen that. That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's a really good, I wish I could find that one clip, because every time you bring up Pedroia, I always think of it where Dustin Pedroia tells the story of Big Papi thinking that his real name
Pee-wee.
Pee-wee. You think my name is effing Pee-wee?
You thought my parents named me effing Pee-wee? That's what he was. You think my parents named me effing Pee-wee? What did he just call you, man? He goes, my name. That's not your name. He goes, pretty sure.
Who's Dustin? That's me. What are you talking about? They've literally said my name thousands of times because it was funny. He literally, Dustin Pedroia was batting in front of Big Papi for years. Yeah. So he's standing on deck while he's here. And Baseball.
But hey, nobody said Big Papi had to be an entomologist. They just-
True. Brady Singer is very likely to get moved because they've got Hunter Green, they've got Andrew Abbott, they've got Nick Lodolo, they've got Chase Burns, and then they also have this kid, Chase Petty, that everybody, man, that's going to get confusing. Two guys named Chase, the same rotation. And then top prospect Rhett Lauder is expected to be back in the fold in 2000. So they're moving him, and whoever decides to grab him, I think he's a solid starter. He's not an ace, but he's a number 3. He's a number 4 easily.
we got those. We need a solid 1.5 pitcher to go behind Crochet. Early.
Yeah, but this is someone you can build depth in your rotation and still go after someone.
Oh no, I'll take him.
These are trade candidates,
right? And you won't have to give up the farm you'll have to give up something, and you should, but not. You don't have to empty the tank, like get all.
Freddie Peralta.
About it.
If you're looking for someone who's a little better than the most, it's Freddie Peralta. It's Sandy Alcantara. We'll talk about more of that in the next hour. Luis Severino, but I don't like him. He's turned into a diva. I don't want anything to do with the guy that doesn't want to pitch at home because he doesn't like the stadium. And those would be my two focuses, and of course Joe Ryan that we mentioned. So Peralta, Ryan, and Alcantara. I would bet on Alcantara's future. Mackenzie Gore, though, I'm telling you, the kid's got good stuff. He's just been on a horrific team. They blow leads. They're very up and down offensively. Mackenzie Gore, you could build something around him. He's a 2, he's a 3 easily, and he's got the kind of stuff. Remember, he was involved in the trade with Juan Soto going out to San Diego. So he was a top prospect. He was the headliner in that trade. We got to jam out of here because I got to get ready for Braves Country today. What's your walk-off?
Walk-off is, please go get a number 2 starter. Get us a right-handed bat. Do what we need to get done. Just go out and do it. We have the money. Stop toying with my emotions and get it done. Sox Nation, please. I'm begging you. We've had enough of mediocrity. 3rd place is no longer good enough. Last place is horrible. We've done it enough. Let's go out, spend the money. We have it. Spend it.
My walk-off is going to be, we'll be doing these on Fridays and probably not next Friday, but news is probably going to break next week. Free agency started yet last night at 5 p.m. If I can find a spot to do it, I'll do a pop-up real quick. I just won't do a long show, and we'll get it figured out. I'll have some way of jumping on live if news breaks, not just with the Braves, but any kind of big Major League Baseball trade or signing. So MLB Today, that'll be every Friday during the off season, except for weeks like next week. But other than that, we just remember to hit the alerts because we're going to be popping up when news breaks. I can't predict when so-and-so signs or makes a huge trade. Like, when Kyle Tucker signs with somebody, I can't predict that. So we're just going to jump on and roll. So that's what that's about. Braves Country Today coming your way. T, be safe. We love you, man. Keep your head down, and we'll see you right about the time the World Baseball Classic knocks out both the Braves and Red Sox entire pitching staff.
Say hi to the missus, brother. Love you, buddy.
You too, bud.